Raceway. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour team, to the Riverhead Raceway team, to our staff, and to you, the most loyal race fans in America. Thank you for coming out on a night that looked impossible. And we must try to pull off the impossible here tonight. Without further ado, starting 30th in the Pine Knoll Auto Sales number 01, Melissa Fifield. In a Lakeland Landscape Supply, PRC Electric number 26, out of Ronkonkoma, Gary McDonald, will start 29th. Starting 28th, he is driving the legendary Mola Racing Propane Plus, Propane Truck. Number 3, Jake Johnson. The Last Minute Racing number 78 of Walter Sutcliffe will start 27. From Manorville, he is a 3-time Riverhead Raceway NASCAR Modified Champion in E4C Chevrolet, Kyle Soper of Manorville. From Chelmsford, Massachusetts, starting 25th in the Middlesex Interiors number 79, it's John McKennedy. A 61-time feature event winner and 5-time Riverhead Raceway champion will start 24th in the License to Chill Safety Pumpkin Boss number 03 from Riverhead, Don Rogers Jr. He finished 3rd in the September event here at Riverhead Raceway for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. 3 air conditioning, Kennedy Long Island Realty number 88 for Roger Fairbanks. His brother will start 22nd in the Crumpets Market, Kennedy Long Island Realty number 81, Chris Fairbanks of Wading River. Celebrating his 57th birthday the other day, starting 21st, the Sap Enterprises number 36, for Sap Days at the Answer of Riverhead. A 3-time feature event winner last year in the
The third race of the Whelen Modified Tour season rolls through Riverhead Raceway. This tight bull ring is home to some of modified racing's best. Three-time champion Justin Bonsignor is focused as he looks to grab another win this season. While Patrick Emmerling, he wants to do what he did last year here, and that's go to victory lane. Eric Goodale is off to a strong start. He's tied atop the championship standings at the site of his first career win. It's 200 laps of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour coming up next. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the Riverhead Raceway. It's that third race of the season for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. I'm Joe Koss alongside Steve Halpin, and Bob Finan will be joining us throughout the broadcast here tonight as well. 30 strong of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour here tonight, Steve. And what makes this race so unique and exciting is that it's got that hometown, local track feel with 19 of the drivers related to this Long Island racetrack in one way or another here competing in this 30-car field here tonight.
So many of these drivers started here in the Long Island Karting Association. We used to run go-karts here. Justin Bonsignor has been a champion. Also, Eric Goodale, Timmy Salamito, who starts from the pole here today. All of these drivers, teams, car owners, crew chiefs, a lot of Long Island flavor here tonight at the Miller Lite 200.
Now, we practiced earlier in the day today. Some wet weather rolled in. That impacted how qualifying rolled out. We set the starting lineup based on practice speeds today. That puts Timmy Salamito making his first appearance in the 2022 season on the front row, and Eric Goodale, another Long Island driver, will join him on the outside.
The front row, they're actually family, cousins. They're moms or sisters. They all race together. They get along together. This is going to be real interesting. Eric Goodale had his first career Modified Tour victory here at Riverhead Raceway. Timmy Salamito, countless wins here between weekly competition and Modified Tour competition. As for Eric Sanderson, he won 3 races in car number 16.
Field begins to roll here. They'll go through 5 pace laps before we get ready to turn them loose here tonight in the Miller Lite 200. At the Riverhead Raceway. You know, we've already gone through 2 large racetracks this season. We started off at New Smyrna in Florida, High Banks, large racetrack. Then we went to the Richmond Raceway, obviously a large D-shaped oval here, but this racetrack is so different. You've got to be up on the wheel. You've got to be tenacious, aggressive. That chrome horn is going to get a workout tonight. This is the bull ring, short track, Saturday night racetrack that many dream of, and this is the ultimate racetrack.
And in the same theory of it, you think you got to be up on the wheel, as you said, but your lift points are the most important thing to get around this place. You have to basically lift right as you go past the start-finish line, and right after Riverhead Raceway on the backstretch, you got to lift there, and it'll enable you to get through the corner. If you don't do that, you're going to be either on the brakes, loose, or way tight. So you have to make sure your lift points are correct, and the guys on the front row, they know all about the lift points here at Riverhead Raceway.
Well, both former winners in the Whelen Modified Tour and in other forms of racing here at this racetrack, so they know it well. And I think Eric Goodale said it before the race. He said, you know, I have been good this year because I have just taken what has come to me. I'm not overdriving the race car. I'm not being too aggressive. I know when I need to go, and I know when I need to pull back a little bit. And you're going to need that tonight, and that's going to be one of the keys that we'll keep an eye on. And
the thing with Eric Goodale, the last time they were here, he had a terrible qualifying effort. And little by little, as the race came on, it came to him. He'd let guys pass him. He'd pass them back a little later, and he got a top 5 the last time he was here with the Whelen Modified Tour.
Some of the other stories, we've got Doug Kobe in the field today. He'll be driving the 7 New York, starting 3rd on the inside of row number 2. Now, Jimmy Blewett was slated to run this race car. His daughter came ill with an illness. They decided that they were going to take care of her, Kayla. We certainly send our best wishes and prayers to her and the entire Blewett family, but it put Doug Kobe in this race car for the first time this season as he makes his first appearance this year. Steve, the lights on the pace truck are out. That means we're about ready to go racing here with the Whelen Modified Tour in Riverhead.
Strap in, folks. 200 laps for the Miller Lite 200. Led around by Timmy Salamito to the inside and Eric Goodale to the outside.
Green flag flies, and Salamito quickly out of the gate. He'll take the top spot. Battle on for second. Doug Kobe quickly working to the bottom. Meanwhile, we've got Ken Hagee, who has gone around to the front straightaway, spins it down into the infield. We stay under the green flag as Salamito leads lap 1.
Doug Kobe now to the inside of car number 58 of Eric Goodale, and Kobe will come to the second spot. Bonsignor settles in for 4th.
Funny to see Bonsignor running down to the bottom. He said before the race, I think I want to try to run the top, get up in the outside lane, but the rain earlier today impacts where the groove of this racetrack is. So it's a green racetrack when we get back under the green flag here in the first opening laps. Everybody testing the waters early on.
3 laps into this one, Timmy Salamino sets the pace. Car number 7. Doug Kobe runs second. Eric Goodale is third. Fourth is Justin Bonsignor, and fifth, car number 82 of Craig Lutz.
You already see some of the lap traffic. Jake Johnson in the 3, Old Blue, third driver to drive that car this season, going a lap down. You see that left front tire bowed in the wrong direction. He was involved in that early incident, just trying to limp that around and stay out on track.
Wow, what a job by Bonsignor to get through those 2 lap cars.
Problems continue for Jake Johnson. Smoke off the left front. Craig Lutz got into him. Now Ronnie Silk working around the outside lane, and Johnson has his hands full at the moment.
Doug Kobe, car number 7, starting to look to the inside of Timmy Salamino on the exit of the corners, looking to cross him over as Kobe sends it into the high side of the raceway and tries to drive off on the bottom.
Kobe trying that crossover move, looks high in turn 1, see if he goes to the bottom. And you noted in practice that Doug Kobe was really using the inside white line to get that car to pivot and turn off the corners.
When Kobe was here for his first 2 wins here last year, that's how he got the 10 car around this raceway. He used the inside under the white line and was able to get the car to rotate better, and he's doing that now as he looks to the inside of Timmy Salamino for the race lead.
So Doug Kobe to the point. He learned that he was going to drive this race car here tonight on Tuesday. Did not sit in the race car and get the seat comfortable until earlier this afternoon. And now a handful of laps in, he is out in front. So Salamino, the graphic designer, settles back into the 2nd position. Salamino does a lot of the graphics of the race cars here at the Riverhead Raceway and on the Whelen Modified Tour and throughout the Northeast.
And Kobe, Tommy Baldwin's plan, spoke to Jimmy Blewett, and his plan was, we'll just leave the car home. And Blewett said, no, you got to bring that thing and put Doug Kobe in it. And here's Kobe now, lap 13. He's your race leader early on.
Yeah, different plans are interesting. Doug Kobe has worked with a lot of different crew chiefs. He's worked with the Chase family team. He's worked with John McKenna winning championships, Phil Moran, and now he's working with Tommy Baldwin. He said, you know, the cars drive the same. They're different chassis, but what's interesting is where the crew chief decides to make his adjustments first. And he says that's something that's hard to prepare for when you come into a race like this. But so far, it looks like he and Tommy Baldwin, third in practice, now leading the race early on. It seems though things are pointed in the right direction for Kobe in this 7 New York.
Kobe has been real good here. Again, in his 20, it took him 20 starts to win here at Riverhead Raceway, where he's basically won almost everywhere else. Unusual, and he's had some seconds. He's got spun out late in the race, but to see him last year win for the first time, it was unbelievable.
Hey, there's only one way to make a racetrack one that you like, and that's if you've gone to victory lane, and that's the way Doug Kobe is with racetracks. He's out in front, but he's already starting to get into some lap traffic as they try to work through there. Jake Johnson still staying out on track. I want to point out directly in front of the race leader is John McKennedy. John McKennedy unloaded and started deep in the field today. He did not have a good practice, so he started 27th, and he knew he was going to have to go early because he didn't want to get lapped. And right now, Doug Kobe works the inside of the 79 to McKennedy. He came in, John McKennedy did, in the top 5 in points today, so this is not the start that he needed tonight.
He's going to have to try and stay as close to those leaders as he can because they're going to make short work of a lot of these cars, and they're lapping good cars. It just shows you how good the 7NY is and the 66 is.
The small racetrack, and you get that conveyor belt where you're quickly in traffic throughout the race. I mean, you look at it with as many cars as we had, by the time the leader was taking the green flag, John McKennedy was still rolling down the back straightaway. It doesn't take long to use that time up.
Absolutely not. And they're starting to approach now. Roger Turbish, car number 88. Last time we ran the tour here, he finished 3rd. They're starting to catch him on the backstretch and through 3 and 4 and almost make him a lapped car.
Now, we've talked a lot about Kobe. We've talked a lot about Salamino. I mean, those guys are Whelen Modified Tour veterans, but there's drivers like Roger Turbish who are good at this racetrack, and we've got a handful of local drivers in the field here tonight at Riverhead that can go up there, compete, and it would not be a surprise to anyone if they found a way to victory lane.
Well, even if you look back to 3-time champion John Fortin Sr., who's here substitute driving for his son, J.B. Fortin, in car number 34. Fortin has gotten himself into the top 10 as he rides behind the 50 car. And John Fortin right now, the top Riverhead regular, so to speak, as he is in the top 10. And here comes the 87 as well.
Yeah, multi-time track champion John Fortin Sr. His son, who welcomed a baby girl in the past week or so, is watching his new daughter tonight. And that put John Fortin Sr. in that number 34 race car, who started in 11th and is driven up into the top 10.
And under the rain delay today, Bob Finan had a comment about car number 16 of Ronnie Silk. Ronnie Silk, almost like Kobe, 20 starts here in Whelen Modified Tour events. He's yet to garner a win. Right now, he's all over the back bumper of Eric Goodale, looking to come to position number 3.
Yeah, he was able to get by the 51 of Justin Bonsignor, who's sliding back in the outside lane. We're talking the 16 with the orange numerals there, headed into turn number 3. Ronnie Silk, former champion of the series, right behind Eric Goodale on that red, white, and black number 58. But a little bit behind them, some good action. There's Ronnie Williams in the 50, part-time runner on the tour. Justin Bonsignor is there. And there's John Fortin that we were talking about a moment ago in that white 34.
And it almost looks as if Bonsignor is going to settle in here. You know, he did this last time as well. And he just kind of settles in because the car isn't exactly what he needs at this point in the race, only 35 laps in.
200 laps here. A lot of the drivers will tell you, although it's only a 50-mile race, this is a very long race. It's grueling. It beats up on your equipment. The brakes get hot. The drivers get hot. The tempers get hot. And you've got to be able to manage your equipment to the end. And Justin Bonsignor is a champion for a reason, because he is one of the best at it.
At this point, he almost looks happy. If someone gets underneath him, he's just getting up and out of their way and giving them the space they need. So he has something for the race at the end of the event.
The last couple of seasons, they've laid down the PJ1 traction compound here at the Riverhead Raceway, and Justin Bonsignor second on the all-time win list. Here, 8 victories. Mike Iwanisco leads that list with 11 in Whelen Modified Tour action. And Bonsignor says, you know what, since they started putting that traction compound down, I have not been as good at this racetrack.
He's always we used to call him a bottom feeder when he was here, because no matter what, he was able to get a guy on the bottom. He'd be able to outbrake him getting into the corner. And then to go fast here, you needed to round up around the outside and get some momentum. And that's a lot for him to get used to from what he's driven here before.
And he's driven all types of cars before, even karts. It's
Yeah.
been pretty impressive there.
Go-karts, he ran a go-kart almost 12 seconds around this place, never lifted. And he's incredible. Now,
and the pole today was 11.4 to give you some context. Yeah.
Your leader's in some heavy traffic as Doug Kobe works his way to the inside of Austin Beers.
There's a driver, and look at that right front on Austin Beers, glowing red. He said, I was really excited to come into Riverhead. He had a good car here last year. He finished 2 laps down, but he was fast enough to race up inside the top 10 of the racetrack. Trying to go 3 wide there for a minute. Not sure that's going to work, and it didn't.
His dad always ran really well here, especially in the Bear Motorsports number 14. Eric always did a great job at this place.
He did, and he is here, his dad, Eric Beers, cheering on his son of the 64, who is a very poised young man. A little bit deeper back, Justin Bonsignor trying to hold off Fortin in the 34. There's Beers again. Here's Fortin looking to the inside in turn 3.
And Ronnie Williams right in front of them. Again, a good group of cars here. And like I said before, they're lapping good cars right now.
Doug Kobe continues to be the race leader. This is the battle just outside the top 5. The 51, Justin Bonsignor, the 34 of John Fortin Sr. Lap traffic down below.
Ronnie Silk sits third, about a straightaway behind your leaders right now. So Silk trying to make his way through lap traffic. Tom Rogers Jr. right in front of him, multi-time Riverhead Raceway champion, second on the all-time win list here at Riverhead Raceway, to Charging Charlie Drzumback.
Yeah, some of the best modified racers have come from this part of the country and have really made their name in the record books of open wheel competition. Such a hotbed for open wheel racing.
It's always been popular. So if you ran a go-kart, your progression used to go a go-kart to a legend car. Some of the younger kids would run a charger car, and then they'd go right into a modified. Now we have a division here, sort of like the SKs, but not really as powerful. It's a crate motor. It's a crate division, and a lot of these younger guys are running those now. We're going to see them here any day soon.
Well, one of the reasons why you see so many Whelen Modified Tour drivers that are from this racetrack or locals that run this race is because the rules of your weekly tour type modifieds are basically the same.
Exactly the same.
You know, you basically put a sticker on it and say, hey, we're ready to go NASCAR racing, which is
You're
good.
almost tour legal, so you can take this car and go run Thompson or Stafford, without, you just have to change your gear or whatever race is available to you, you can go run.
Which creates the depth of the field that we have here tonight. And one of the main reasons why you see a lot of the talent come from this area because they're so used to running on these race cars.
And years ago, the late Tom Baldwin said, if you can win here at Riverhead, you got a shot to win anywhere else.
Speaking of Tom Baldwin, how about that 7 York?
Problems for Justin Bonsignor.
Yeah, he's sparks on the left front as he went down through. Smoke behind Bonsignor. Could it be mechanical problems for the second time this season? The first race out at New Smyrna, he did not make it to the finish. Engine problems there. Now Bonsignor slow to the bottom of turn 3. Green flag still out as his car continues to roll. And now, lap 58, the caution flag is out. And the winner at Richmond and defending champ Justin Bonsignor brings out caution number 1 on lap 58.
I don't know if he had contact with someone, but right here coming off of turn number 4, he went down the front stretch and headed to the infield. Lots of smoke off the right rear tire for Justin Bonsignor. Not what he wanted to happen here tonight at his home track. I just wonder if it was something going wrong originally because he started to drop back in the field.
Well, he's looking to get a push from one of the wreckers to see if he can get that number 51 back to Ryan Stone and the entire team back in the pit area, back behind turns 3 and 4 here at Riverhead. We'll get a look at what happened here and see one more time. Watch the 51 of Justin Bonsignor down here on the bottom. Fortin had just gotten by him not that long ago. His cousin, Kyle Bonsignor, behind, and something appeared to let go because it started to smoke on the straightaway. Doesn't appear to be coming out of the exhaust pipe.
No, it's something with the rear end. Seal maybe? Maybe blew a seal. But it just all of a sudden on the backstretch out of turn number 2, it just let go. It's unfortunate for the Phoenix Communications number 51. You're defending NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion Justin Bonsignor to the pits.
So a tough break for that team. The story going into Richmond was, can Justin Bonsignor rebound after a rough start at New Smyrna? And they did. They went to victory lane in an exciting finish between he and Tommy Catalano at the end, battling to get that victory. And now today, he's back behind the 8 ball again. So we'll see how this all plays out. Field working under the caution. Another car that is slow is Walt Sutcliffe off turn 2. He will get pushed in the number 78, and they'll clear him off that section of the racetrack. They've got him push started and fired up again, so he's rolling. Doug Kobe has led almost the entire way so far. We've seen 2 leaders. Timmy Salamito started on the pole in the 66. Kobe passed him a handful of laps in.
It was about 10. By about lap 10, lap 11, right around there, Kobe got to the bottom and was able to pass him out of turn number 2. And Salamito's still right there. He's not letting Kobe get away, but the 2 of them had separated themselves by quite a few cars from your third place car, the 16 of Ronnie Silk.
And then the 58 of Eric Goodale and John Fortin running in 5th at the moment. Timmy Salamito spends a lot of time at the racetrack here in Riverhead on Saturday nights, and while talking with him in the pit area earlier today, driver after driver after driver was coming up saying, how should I adjust my car? Should I do this with the shocks? Should I do that with the shocks? So he was out there giving plenty of chassis and setup advice, was Timmy Salamito today. But of course, he is in the graphic design business and spends a lot of time here at the racetrack servicing the customers that he has here with their logos on the race cars.
Plenty of cars. And aside from that, he also does shirts, jackets, hats, everything. And he basically caters to the racing community. But he says he makes his money on other customers. But he 20 wins here at Riverhead Raceway, 3 of them NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour victories for Timmy Salamito. And he won a bunch when he was young. He's still young.
And he runs second at the moment in that 66. Good to see him in the family car running here tonight at his home track. Third place driver, you've talked about him, Ronnie Silk. Height you know in racing, this is a new operation on the Wheel Modified Tour, but Ronnie Silk had been running a handful of races for the team over the past couple of years. They've teamed up with now Phil Moran, who was Doug Coby's crew chief when he won those string of championships over the past couple of seasons.
And the 2 races here last year.
And the 2 races here last year. And I was going to mention that while you were talking about how strong Ronnie Silk looks today, because Phil Moran knows how to get a car around this racetrack. He hasn't always had the best luck here, but it looks like he's got a pretty good package he's put behind Ronnie Silk tonight.
He's actually taking his time to come through here because he's much faster than where he is. Like, he was starting to lap cars, but he'd wait a little bit as opposed to wearing his car out trying to get to these guys who currently run first and second. Silk is now right behind him, and this should be interesting on this restart.
You talked about finesse earlier on. Ronnie Silk, he always went by the name Smooth as Silk, right? And that's because he is so good at conserving, at knowing where to get every ounce of speed out of a race car without using it up. And Ronnie Silk's good at that. That'll serve him well here tonight if he can keep a clean wheel.
I would say Ronnie Silk has probably had 4 weekly racing series starts here. He's won twice. 1 for Bill Park and 1 for Eddie and Connie Partridge. So Silk, he likes this place. He can get around this place. He just needs to catch a break. And right now, he's to the 3rd spot, and we're getting ready to restart this thing.
Field doubled up. They roll down the back straightaway, getting set to turn them loose here one more time. We'll have 67 laps up on the board of 200 when they come back to get the green flag. Safety truck is in. Top of the flag stand, Bob Slade throws the green flag, and we're back underway. Coby to the inside, Salamito up top.
Timmy Salamito with a good run on the top side of the raceway as they head down to turn number 3.
Salamito edges ahead up there in the outside, rolling the top with momentum. We thought it might come in, but Coby sends it in on the bottom and runs him up a little bit off turn 2 to try to stay out in front.
All meanwhile, the 16 of Ron Silk sits there in the 3rd spot, watching what's going on. Caution flag back out.
78 of Walt Sutcliffe is spun to the inside of turn 4. I'll bring out our second caution here, lap 69.
Interesting here as the race goes on, as the top for Salamito seemed pretty good on that restart. Wonder if that's starting to come in here. I don't know if Timmy Salamito on the timing loop was ahead of Doug Coby. We'll find out momentarily.
Yeah, NASCAR will go back to the last completed lap. Unlike what we see in the National Series when you watch on TV, there's only one scoring loop, and that's the start-finish line. And so NASCAR will go back to when the last completed lap. And the report is that Timmy Salamito is the race leader. So you were right. He was able to nose out in front and take that top spot. So Doug Coby now second. Ron Silk and Eric Goodale remain 3rd and 4th, at least what they are showing at the moment on the scoring monitor. So that's where they stack up. Another driver that comes from Long Island is the 82 of Craig Lutz. And Craig Lutz from Miller Place, New York, in the number 82, running 5th at the moment. What's interesting about that, though, is he didn't really spend a ton of time racing here.
His father ran a late model here and won a late model championship, but every week he was just in all sorts of stuff. They ran him rough, but he still was able to win the championship. And he said, my son's never going to run here on a weekly basis. So they went to Waterford, and he did an excellent job there. And now he's starting to run here a little more.
Getting ready to go back under the green. Here they come. Green flag is out, and Salamito fires off of the inside lane, trying to clear Doug Coby off turn 2. Can't quite get it. 3 wide for the lead as Silk looks to the bottom of 3.
Ronnie Silk starting to put pressure on your front duo. Coby now on the outside in car number 7 NY. Tries to come by Timmy Salamito as he did on the previous restart. 75 laps down this time by. Here comes Doug Coby. Coby to the lead in the 7 NY.
Clears Salamito off through, and the caution is out. We've got one around off turn 4.
John Beatty, car number 5. Just a couple of years ago, he and Justin Bonsignore in a titanic battle here for the win as Bonsignore spun across the start-finish line.
Look at the bumper as it goes by, the rear bumper. I think he might
Oh, yeah,
have got a little bit of help.
I think someone got him.
There's no denying that.
Unfortunate for Beatty, but again, we're only 76 laps in. So he's got a ways.
Yeah, this is a long way to go. I mean, we're coming up on halfway. A lot can happen. And often does.
The 07 of Patrick Emmerling was in the neighborhood. His bumper straight up in the air. So I wonder if he got driven into him or.
Does 1 + 1 = 2 in this case?
Maybe.
Well, Emmerling has had to use that chrome horn a little bit here tonight because he started back in 15th. He won here the last time we raced at Riverhead back in the end of the 2021 season. And in a similar day, he had to drive from mid-pack to get up to the point where he could compete for the win. I don't know how much bumper he used that day to do it.
No,
or not,
he didn't.
But
You know what he did? He was rolling the top where everyone else was down at the bottom. And they kept giving him room on the outside. He just drove his way one car at a time, taking his time. And before you knew it, he got out in front of Justin and pulled away.
And there's that bumper, Steve. Look at it.
Yeah, see it?
All jacked up in the front.
I'm wondering if that was him into the back of the 5. So.
And things happen so quick at a racetrack like this. You're going around this track 11.4 seconds.
Especially on exit, because it happened here on the exit of turn 4. So whatever happened.
We're ready to get back under the green flag. Salamito on the bottom of the 66. Doug Kobe to the outside of the 70 York. Third driver to drive that car this year. It was Mike Christopher Jr. and Jimmy Blewett. Now Doug Kobe in the car. Ronnie Williams gets shuffled out of line mid-pack in the 50. They're 3 wide, deeper in the pack off turn 2. But Kobe to the lead as they come back to the green.
And on that restart, Doug Kobe was your leader. He elected the outside and was able to go by Timmy Salamito back to the lead. Silk sits third, fourth. Car number 58 will make that the 87. Is John Baker to the 4th spot. He broke earlier in practice today, but had a good lap, so he was able to start towards the front. They haven't put him on. Oh, we got a problem here on the front stretch.
A couple of cars going down through the infield so far. We stay under the green flag. A little bit deeper, we see some action taking place. Ronnie Williams in the 50, Craig Lutz up in the outside. 2 drivers that have a lot of SK modified experience. Ronnie Williams, multi-time track champion at Stafford Speedway. Craig Lutz, Waterford Speed Bowl, as you noted a few moments ago. And John Fortin right behind them. They are wheel-to-wheel on the backstretch.
And back up front, the pressure now is on Timmy Salamito from the 16 of Ronnie Silk.
We're starting to see that groove move up. At the start of the race,
Yeah.
the first 50 laps or so, everybody had their left side tires on that white line to the bottom, using the apron where the banking flattens out a little bit to get their cars to rotate through the corner. Now they're about midway up, and after the restart, Doug Kobe was even higher than that, but he settled back into that bottom groove again.
And there's definitely a groove up there. It's just a matter of being able to get out there and utilize it. But right now, Timmy Salamito sits second. Ronnie Silk is third. John Baker in car number 87 to the 4th spot. Roger Turbish to the infield in car number 88.
Now Baker started 20th. He had a transmission problem during practice. They replaced that, got it rolling again, and he is on the move.
You just got to wonder if he's too fast too soon. You know, that happens a lot to the Riverhead regulars here. They're not used to running a 200-lap race, so to conserve your tires, you know, sometimes they will wear them out early. At about 150, they start going backwards.
And these tires are different than what you run weekly here at this track. Even though the
much
cars are
different
the
tires.
same,
These are much harder.
they're a different tire. So you can't just say, hey, this works on my weekly car. I'm just going to go ahead and throw these tires on. It'll be the same. It doesn't react the same.
No, not at all. But right now, Baker has done a nice job to come from the 20th spot to the 4th spot.
There's Tommy Catalano in the 54. What a race he had the last time out. Nearly picked up his first victory at the Richmond Raceway. Got into a jingle with some lap traffic late in the going and just struggled to navigate it. I said, Tommy, if there's anything you could do different in that race, he said, you know what? I just need a little bit more experience in working through that lap traffic. You know, I used my stuff up early when Justin Bonsignore caught me, but I just needed a little bit more practice of working through some of that lap traffic. But boy, what a day that team had. We talked to Eric Goodale, the championship point leader. He's tied with Tommy Catalano at the top of the standings right now. So 2 drivers right there that are starting off their season better than they ever have in their career.
And I don't know if you remember the first time Tommy came here. He almost knocked the wall down in qualifying. He had no idea what he was on. And to watch him do this right now in front of Kyle Bonsignor, who started here in a go-kart, but to see him race right now, what a job by Catalano and that entire team, and his win is coming soon.
It is. It certainly is. Kyle Bonsignor started here in a go-kart, but he really didn't race here all that much. His family moved down to North Carolina. He ran super late models, ran in the Pastor for a while. Halfway, this time by, and Doug Kobe gets the halfway bonus.
Great job for Kobe, but I'll tell you what, Salamito not going away, nor is Ronnie Silk, as the top 3 run nose to tail through turns 1 and 2, and Baker's right there in 4th. Goodale seems to have settled into the 5th spot. You know, as he told you earlier, he'll take it as it comes to him. Just keep an eye on him. He's always really good at the end of these races.
He's been very patient all season long, and that's what it's taking, and it's working for them.
I have a 6-year-old son, and Eric Goodale is his baseball coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, not calm, though. Not calm at baseball.
Oh, he's not calm at baseball.
No.
Well, he said one of the things that he thinks he's doing well this year is he's being present.
Yeah.
Right? And he says, I'm not worried about racing all week. I'm worried about what I'm doing that day. And maybe it's baseball, maybe it's something else, but he certainly stays on it. Meanwhile, up front, how about Doug Kobe? He is in the middle of lap traffic. They took him 3 wide while you were watching. Kobe to the inside now, trying to skate his way through, getting underneath Dave Zapienza. That has allowed everybody to close right in. Salamito, Silk, right there in the top 3.
And Kobe will get some clear Raceway here for probably a few laps at least, but then the cars are single file. There's not a large group of cars out in front of them. So Doug Kobe, if he can stretch his lead, now's the time he's going to do it.
A little bit of breathing room for Doug Kobe. The first time he's had that in about 25 laps or so. Let's see if Silk, with a little bit of open racetrack, can start to track down the 66 of Salamito.
He had done it earlier, but now Salamito looks like he's starting to pull away a bit.
Here's Emmerling, started 15th.
And here he comes.
And he is charging. The time is now 109 laps complete. And Emmerling starting to work his way through the field.
He's up to the 9th spot right now in car number 07, right behind John Fortin Sr.
Emmerling, who now is a part owner of a NASCAR Xfinity Series team, had a Richie Evans throwback paint scheme for the race at Darlington Raceway as part of the NASCAR throwback weekend. And a lot of modified fans were very excited to see that. It wasn't the 61, it was the 35 that they have for their team, but boy, that thing looks sharp.
That was originally done, that paint scheme, at New Hampshire on Bob Garbarino's car and Tommy Baldwin's Cup car. And they originally did that, and those guys took that paint scheme and put it on for Darlington. It looked great. It was such a great idea to do it again.
So I'll look at Eric Goodale running in 5th, now back up to that 2nd and 3rd place battle. Gary McDonald in the 26. He'll go to the inside. Salamito outside along with Ron Silk.
And look at the lead that Kobe's now built up in car number 7. He's got about a half a straightaway on them and plenty of room in front of him. So if they start to battle, he'll pull away even more. 117 laps into this event.
So watch Silk now. He's stepping up to that outside lane. He's starting to search a little bit. Salamito's content to run the bottom, but Silk is working high, diving low off the turn to see if he can gain a little bit more traction and put a wheel to the inside of Salamito.
Salamito, though, with a strong run here today. For a guy who hasn't run yet this year, he's doing a great job. He lost a bunch of weight, too.
He looked good.
He lost like 25 pounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Said he had to get ready for this race. high mark, number 66. Silk looks awful good here, though. I just don't know if he's going to wear that out, trying to get by Salamito.
Timmy's brother, Sean, put the setup in this car. Sean moved to Rhode Island, started a business out there, but comes to the shop just to put the setup in, and the setup was good enough for a fast practice time, which equaled the pole position tonight when qualifying got rained out.
And he's backing that up 100% here, 122 laps into this event.
But look at Baker in the 87. And if you're just joining us, John Baker, a local driver, second generation driver in that number 87, runs weekly here at Riverhead Raceway, started back in the 20th position and is now running 4th, and the only drivers in front of him have multiple Whelen Modified Tour victories, and 2 of them are champions.
And for Baker last year, 3 feature event wins.
We've got a wheel and a couple of cars into the wall up there in turn 2, turn 1.
Looks like Matthew Brody, car number 96. And could it be Craig Lutz?
It is Lutz.
It's Lutz and Matthew Brody.
In the 82, Matt Brody in the 96. And the red flag is out.
Right here at lap 125.
So the 4th caution on lap 125. Red flag is out for an incident in turn 1 between the 96 of Matt Brody and the 82 of Craig Lutz, who went into the turn 1 wall. We're going to look at what happened here to bring us under the 4th caution. There's Brody in the 96 of the outside. Lutz comes to the bottom off turn 4, and the 2 came together, and the right front wheel off of Lutz's car went bouncing up into the catch fence. They came together. It was slightly out of frame, but they came together as they were on the straightaway. There's Craig Lutz walking away, and Matt Brody out of his number 96 as well. So good sign there. Both drivers up walking away to our safety team. So 75 laps to the finish. And still a lot of storylines still left to play out. Can Doug Coby hang on and continue the dominance here that he's seen over the past couple of years, or the past handful of races even here at Riverhead?
Last couple of years, he's been one of the better cars here. And like I said, he's had some incidents, some contact, flat tires. And then last year, he was able to win 2 events. As you see, the Danny Watts owned Craig Lutz, number 82, as it heads to the pit area.
One more look at it. Look at the bottom of your screen as the orange 82 of Craig Lutz comes off the turn. It appears as though they came together right about the start-finish line. It's slightly out of frame, but there, look at that contact, ripping the right front tire off of Lutz's machine. Caught one of the safety lights on the way, but the Whelen Engineering lights are tough. It's still working, even though it got knocked over. You can see it flashing. And Matt Brody, caught in the outside lane, had nowhere to go. So a little bit of work to try to get this 96 off the racetrack. And then we'll be able to get the field rolling once again.
And it's unfortunate for Coby, who had built a very nice lead down the stretch here. That all goes away with this caution flag, or this red flag. Timmy Salamito, Ron Silk, John Baker, and Eric Goodale.
So after racing just twice this season, as the weather starts to finally warm up here in the northern part of the country, been a cold spring so far, finally getting to the warm temperatures this week. The season started off at the New Smyrna Speedway back in February as part of Speed Weeks, where Matt Hirschman captured the win. Then on April Fool's Day, April 1st, It was the Richmond Raceway. Justin Bonsignore got the win today. Riverhead Raceway still yet to be determined. Also the season opening event here at Riverhead. So first opportunity for the fans and drivers to get out here in competition here this evening. But next week, we travel up to New Hampshire to the Lee USA Speedway, a Saturday night race, Saturday, May 21st, and things get busy because we go from there. Memorial Day weekend, we go to the Jennerstown Speedway out in Pennsylvania, May 28th, and the season really starts to pick up into full swing for these modified drivers. So after having a couple of gaps in the schedule early on, starting February, then early April, now we really start to get into the meat of the season.
And there's the car counts have been really good, so I'm interested to see how this season shakes out. And it's unfortunate Doug Kobe doesn't have a full-time ride. But who knows? Who knows what this will bring in the 7NY here tonight for Kobe. Mike Christopher Jr. also driving that car, and Jimmy Blewett.
Well, as we work under the red flag here to clear the racetrack for this latest caution, let's add another member of our broadcast team to the mix. Let's send it down to the pits and Jesse Punch.
Quick update on the 51 of Justin Bonsignore. After talking with the crew, it looks like it was a broken track bar, which in turn had an effect on the sway bar. So the smoke that you saw coming off of the race car was actually the right rear tire rubbing on the fender. You can see it visibly on the race car as it gets back out on the track. And the team told me they're working on replacing the track bar right now. Position is not important for them. They're hoping to just get a couple more laps because at the end of the season, every single point matters. So 51 car still in the pits right now, but hoping to get back out on that racetrack soon.
All right, thank you, Jesse. So that was the update on Justin Bonsignore and the problems that they had in the rear end suspension on that 51. And that team usually so buttoned up with their mechanical preparation under the hood or anywhere else, whether it's suspension or other components. It's very rare to see them have the problems in 2 out of 3 races so far this season.
I don't think we've seen them have 2 in a season, let alone 2 out of the first 3 races. Some sort of mechanical issue for the 51, especially since Ryan Stone's been involved with that team. Just unusual. Don't know what the set of circumstances were to break the track bar, but they'll change it. They'll get back out here, and hopefully for them, perhaps a couple of these cars drop out and they can make a couple of points up, because we've seen drivers win by 1 point. So every point matters as they come back out here, or at least make the attempt to do so.
Yeah, and you never know which one is going to count. We get a good look inside the 7 New York, into the eyes of multi-time Whelen Modified Tour champion Doug Kobe, one of the best drivers in the modern era of modified racing, the Whelen Modified Tour. You said a few moments ago, what could it be if he had a full-time ride? He said, you know what, I like being a car owner, but I don't want to have to go through all the logistics of every week trying to be able to make that work. I want to drive. And he said if the right opportunity came up for me to be able to get back into a modified, I would, but not as an owner driver. He says, I'll take my car and I'll run a show here or there. He's got 4 on the schedule as the season rolls on in the Whelen Modified Tour and some other events that he's got planned. But he said with the right opportunity, I'd certainly get back on the tour to be able to go out and accomplish more and add to his storied career. So it's maybe not out of the question yet. It looks like maybe 2022 might be a little hard for that to happen. Now 3 races in, just making his first appearance, but he's not done yet if the opportunity arises.
I don't think he would be, and I also think it would have to be the right opportunity for him. He's not going to get in a car because there's an empty seat. He'll have to get in a car that's like this 7NY, something that's very, very competitive, and he'll run. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you had an 8th place car, Doug Kobe will be making a 3rd place car, but he's going to look to go out and win every single time he gets in that car.
When he does go racing, you'll have John McKenna, crew chief that he won a Whelen Modified Tour Championship to start it all in the 52. Wade Darling's number 52 calling the shots for him, so it's a combination they know very well. He'll be running racetracks that he runs very good at, Loudon, Thompson, and so it'll be interesting to see what he does when he gets that number 10 back out on track. But for tonight, it's the 7 New York filling in for Jimmy Blewett as he attends to some family issues in the illness of his daughter. And that's how Doug Kobe got alerted to that ride here this week. Now, the 64 of Austin Beers right ahead of Doug Kobe. He is the free pass car, so he will join once they give him the one to go, come back around and join the tail end to get one of those laps back.
You know, when you look at that 7NY, Tommy's father always had a black car. Then the end of his career, unfortunately, we had a yellow car. I used to be a spotter, so and worked on his team. And to see this car in black running up front at this facility, and even just now when you showed Kobe in the car, that 61 sticker on the roof, every car that Tom Baldwin Sr. built had that 61 sticker on the roof. And Tommy put that one up there. It's just a nice touch by them. And Tom Baldwin Jr., he doesn't forget where he came from. And if we have a big race here at Riverhead and we need cars and he's got a car available, he brings his car out here.
And
so,
don't forget the accomplishments that he's had.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Unbelievable.
I mean, he's won the Daytona 500 as a crew chief.
The Southern 500.
Right, he's won the Southern 500. He has continued, even this year, he's part of those teams, and he's still crew chiefing, calling the shots, and the 50 team. So a lot of history there for Baldwin, and now he's got that 7 New York with Doug Kobe in the field, trying to continue his dominance here tonight around the outside lane as we go back under the green flag. 130 laps into the Miller Lite 200 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, and Kobe gets by Salamito to take the top spot, but sparks are flying deeper in the pack.
Salamito starting to look to the inside in car number 66. He gets a good run there, but Kobe with a really good run on the top side of the Raceway. As Joe had mentioned earlier, he's starting to search to the outside, getting that car a little bit higher in the 7NY. Salamito right there, right now. Here's Fortin to the inside of Emmerling and to the back bumper of Eric Goodale. Emmerling, though, on the top side of the Raceway, doing a great job to come through this field. This is what he did the last time. Took his time to come to the front. Fortin feeling the heat to the outside from the 15.
You're watching 7th, 8th, and 9th. Emmerling in 7th, trying to get a little bit more and get around Eric Goodale behind them. You've got the 15.
Kyle Soper, defending track champion here at Riverhead Raceway. And John Fortin Sr. And Dylan Slepian, another Riverhead Raceway regular, to the bumper of Fortin Sr.
Slepian's an interesting story in the fact that in modified circles you often talk so much about the 3-car, Old Blue, and the homemade race car. Well, Slepian, just out of frame, the orange numeral number 10, the white machine, that's another home-built race car, an RPF chassis car. And it's always interesting to see the engineering side of the sport and then be successful with different products, different chassis designs.
And Rob Peelis, the owner of the car, also built a late model here that's won 5 championships in a row. So, but a good battle now as Soper is to the inside of Goodale.
3 track championships for Soper. That number 15 so famous here at this racetrack.
Oh,
right?
my goodness. Wayne has 5 track championships as a driver. Sean Salamito has 2, I believe. And then 3 for Soper.
Wayne Anderson, car owner of the 15. Soper, giving it everything he's got. He is up on the wheel here. 58 laps to go, and he and Eric Goodale are going toe-to-toe for position.
And he had a terrible practice session in the 15 car. So he's come from 26th or 27th, I believe. Was way back there. He's worked his way here to the top 10.
28th.
28th, yep.
Emmerling continues to work forward, gets by Ronnie Williams now to the inside lane. So Emmerling on the charge, one of the quickest cars in the track at the moment in that 07 machine out of Orchard Park, New York.
And he's got some clear racetrack now as he heads to the 87 car of John Baker. So Emmerling to the top 5.
J.R. Bertuccio pulls off to the infield in the number 2. A tough break for him in the late going.
Kobe enjoying this clear racetrack right now. Goodale and Ronnie Williams have it out.
Yeah, enjoy it now because it's not going to last long.
Yeah.
Because they are stacked up 2 wide in front of the race leader. Here's Soper now getting by Ronnie Williams, who's starting to fade now, falling to the bottom half of the top 10. There's Emmerling in 5th, and he has indeed closed that gap to the 4th place, number 87 of John Baker.
Emmerling definitely has something here for the top 5 cars. as he starts to reel in the 87 of John Baker, and he's done a nice job to pick his way through this field and sit in the fifth spot.
Also, good opportunity.
They're still having at it.
Yeah, they are. Back to Emmerling there for a moment. You know, this is an opportunity where he's got a little clean racetrack. He can cool the tires down, cool the brakes down. Doesn't have to be as aggressive, but he's still rolling in. He's picked up another 2 car lengths on Baker and starting to close in. Battle behind them for 6th. Eric Goodale and Kyle Soper. And it's a good one. There they are. Goodale in the 58, Soper in the 15. Lap traffic of McDonald to the bottom.
And Goodale's car looks as if it's starting to go away, but not that bad. He's still pretty good here as he runs 4th.
Well, if Goodale can walk out of here with a good solid run, still going to help him in the championship points in the early stages, given the problems that Justin Bonsignor has had.
And think about it. 3 of the cars in front of him on the Raceway are not even in the points, with Doug Coby in the 7. Well, he's in the ownership points. But the 66 of Salamito and the 87 of Baker. So he can definitely do some damage here tonight in car number 58 if he can continue to run the way he is.
And there's your leader. 44 laps to go when they come to the line this time by. Doug Coby now catching up to the tail end of the field. Austin Beers is there. Coby has to go to the bottom. Can't quite make the move work, though. It has to stay in line. Beers and McKennedy come together right in front of the race leader. And McKennedy has not had a good night. Coby said, I'm going to take him 3 wide to the inside and try to dispatch of them, but he can't, and Salamito is now there.
Yeah, he's allowed Timmy Salamito to get to the back bumper of the 7 New York. Coby works over Austin Beers, but here comes Salamito now. Salamito, he's going to try and move Beers. Oh,
Says him, but Silk goes to the inside lane.
Silk makes the move to the inside. Great job by Ronnie Silk there.
And here's Baker now looking for 3rd.
But as you can see, as they do their thing, Coby pulls away by about 7 or 8 car lengths.
But that did allow Patrick Emmerling now to close right in on the 87 of Baker, who's got a little bit loose off the turn that time, trying to get underneath Austin Beers, who's given the leaders a handful here as he tries to stay on the lead lap and try to get that free pass one more time.
Great job by Patrick Emmerling as he's now to the inside of John Baker. Baker able to hold him off this time by.
And as
Emmerling's right there.
As we get towards the end, you start seeing a little bit more contact, a little bit more aggression, less patience out on the racetrack. Emmerling and Baker came together 2 laps to go, and now Emmerling finally able to get by. That moves him into 4th. Timmy Salamito in 3rd, about 3 car lengths ahead of Patrick Emmerling.
And Ron Silk is starting to catch the 7NY. Silk cleared Timmy Salamito and has worked his way to the 2nd spot as Coby is behind Ken Hagee, trying to get by him. His next challenge, John Fortin Sr. and Tom Rogers Jr.
And they are side by side at the line while the race leader tries to snake on through. Silk, though, has not been able to take advantage of that. I would have thought that with Doug Coby mired in 2x2 lap traffic ahead of him, that Silk would have closed in, and he wasn't able to do so.
Coby doing an excellent job right now managing this race. 169 laps down, 31 remain. See, now he's under the white line on the Raceway trying to get grip. That's what he did the last time here when he won those 2 races.
The track continues to change as we get deeper into the night. Under 30 laps to go, and Doug Coby about a half a straightaway of clear racetrack ahead. Ronnie Silk now right behind, but the battle continues to rage for 3rd. Timmy Salamito in the 66, and Patrick Emmerling has closed in, now only a few car lengths behind as he continues to press forward, but the stopwatch is starting to click faster and faster, and time is running out for Emmerling to get up to the front.
Emmerling also using the apron of the Raceway to get that car to rotate through the corners. in car number 07. As Salamito goes around John Fortin Sr., as does Emmerling.
As a spotter, you would know the challenges of keeping an eye on your race car on a track like this, that things happen so quick, but also trying to communicate and relay that information of what the fastest cars on track are doing, the Decobys of the world, the Ronnie Silks.
And you can see it here, Emmerling using that same strategy on the bottom of the raceway. He's got half the car under the white line.
Lap traffic slowed his momentum that time.
That's twice that he's pretty much gotten a run on Timmy Salamito and had to back off. As Kobe has maintained his lead in the 7NY.
You can see how deep Patrick Emmerling is driving down into the turn. And he was paying the price on exit. This time he's a little bit smoother on entry. Follows in the tire tracks of Salamito, but now he tries to cut underneath on the front straightaway. Doesn't quite have position.
Salamito starting to roll the high side of the raceway here, and it's actually helping him hold off the 07 of Emmerling.
You can see the right front brake rotor glowing red just a bit on that 07 of Emmerling.
20 laps to go this time by Doug Kobe. Silk, they maintain about the same distance. Oh, contact! Chris Young Jr. into the 7NY. What a job by Kobe to save that car.
Kobe able to hang on to it, 19 laps to go, so trouble for Doug Kobe, the race leader. Does that impact the handling of his race car? Ronnie Silk about a half a straightaway behind, 2 lap cars directly ahead, Tommy Catalano and Chris Young in the 49. They are in a side-by-side battle, while Ronnie Silk tries to track down Doug Kobe. Is anything wrong with that 7 New York? Or can he continue on with the speed he had throughout the duration of this race?
He got him in the bumper. He didn't really get him in the wheel. So I would think, but Kobe had that slide between 3 and 4, and you wonder what that did to the tires, or very little tires that he had left.
Right behind them, though, Ronnie Silk is starting to get impatient. Into the back of Chris Young, trying to move him out of the way. With a race win in the balance, now 3 lap cars between Doug Kobe make it 4 and Ronnie Silk.
14 to go this time by for Doug Kobe.
Emmerling is now closed into the back bumper of Silk as Silk got caught in that lap traffic side-by-side battle. So Emmerling up to 3rd, see if he can get Ronnie Silk for 2nd.
What a ride for Patrick Emmerling in car number 07. Kobe, clear racetrack right now as these lap cars hold up the guys trying to catch him.
Kobe has a straightaway lead over this battle for 2nd. Emmerling in lap traffic, looking to the inside of Ronnie Silk. Puts a wheel to the inside off 4, to the line. He's got position, but he's got Walt Sutcliffe right ahead. 2 cars nearly come together, but it allows Emmerling to sneak out and take the runner-up spot.
And Silk looks back to the inside to try and make the move, but Emmerling, he's been the strongest car here the second half of the race. Kobe hoping it goes the last 10 laps.
9 to go this time by for Kobe. And he has got a lot of lap traffic ahead and good race cars. Kyle Bonsignor, the next car in front of the race leader, Doug Kobe, they're side by side. He and Ken Hagee at the line. But he's got a healthy advantage, almost half a lap now ahead of the 2nd place machine, Patrick Emmerling, who's still trying to hold off Ronnie Silk, who's not gone away just yet.
And right now, Doug Kobe counting these laps down as we have 6 to go this time by. Just has to be patient getting through this traffic as he enjoys a full straightaway advantage over Patrick Emmerling.
What a win this would be. Doug Kobe in the 7 New York for Tommy Baldwin, in the history of the Baldwins here on Long Island.
That car that 7NY has not been in victory lane here since about 1998.
And for the Blewett family, Jimmy Blewett, who stepped out of this race car today to take care of his daughter, to take care of family when they needed him. A win provides a lot of healing. And right now, Doug Coby just 2.5 laps away. One car spins to the inside of the racetrack, comes right up the track nearly into the race leader. It was Rogers who went spinning. 2 to go. Coby flashes by to the outside lane, and there is smoke everywhere on the front stretch. Off turn 4, Doug Coby comes to the yellow flag, 1 lap shy of the finish. And that means we've got one more restart to settle the race.
Not what Doug Coby wanted to see.
It all happened off turn number 4 when they came to 2 laps to go. Tom Rogers spun, trying to keep that car pointed in the right direction, kept his foot in the accelerator. It spun to the inside lane off the racetrack, but the smoke was so thick that even here from the broadcast booth, we could not see the middle of turns 3 and 4.
Not at all. Nor could your NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour officials, so they couldn't tell if there was something in the way. So,
or the drivers trying to race through that on a tight bull ring. So caution came out, and I believe by the naked eye here in front of us that the caution came out before Doug Coby crossed the line on lap 199, and that is where the scoreboard sits. So this one is going to overtime.
Yes, Coby definitely came to the yellow. The yellow was out. So this should be interesting, as Patrick Emmerling has been the best car the second half of this race, other than the 7NY.
And this is where you make your living if you're a race car driver. Short track racing on a Saturday night comes down to this.
It should be fun. And as you were leading up to it, what this win would mean for Doug Coby, Tommy Baldwin, the Blewitts, everybody involved in that program. Patrick Emmerling, I'm sure, has a similar story. Look at his guys excited that they're going to get a shot at this thing.
Yeah, if you had a shot at Tommy Baldwin, it didn't look anything like that.
No.
But for Patrick Emmerling and his team, Jan Leedy, who was an outstanding driver in his own right, calls the shots for this 07 of Emmerling.
Jan Leedy won a tour race here in the Butch Ballas number 27. Won a race here. Got into, I don't remember who it was, but it was another tour competitor. They made contact through lap traffic. He spun and Leedy kept going, and he came to the checkers.
You mean somebody spun?
Yeah.
And somebody else won coming to the checkers?
Yeah.
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
Except it was the caution flag. So working on getting the lineup all set at the moment before we turn them loose one more time. Looks like Kyle Bonsignor will be the free pass, and will have the opportunity to come back around and get one of his laps back. The field just about getting all sorted out here. Well, we're glad you joined us here tonight on Flow Racing, because this is going to be a good one.
We're glad we made it this far.
We didn't think that we were going to get this one in here at some point today. It rained for a good 4 hours or so, and track drying efforts. Excellent job by the entire track crew here at Riverhead Raceway to be able to get this race in. They ran one feature event prior to the Whelen Modified Tour race, and they've got a few more to go here tonight.
I'll stick around for those.
You know what? That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll stick around for
That
those.
sounds good. And of course, all the race fans that came out to join us here tonight and thunder through the rain to be here to watch this. And it's been an outstanding event so far. You've had a lot of action. You've seen drivers go from the back to the front. Some drama in the middle, and I think still a little bit more drama left to go.
This thing is far from over. Business is about to pick up. The question is, will Coby choose the bottom or the top? Which we've had this happen here before, as John Beatty led a tour race and we got a late caution. He chose the top. Bonsignor underneath him was able to run him up the raceway and get back to the lead. And they spun right here on the front straightaway. Bonsignor spun going across the start-finish line. So the question is, what does Doug Coby choose? This is all his restarts have been very good on the top of the raceway. But does he give Emmerling the opportunity to get underneath him and move him up the raceway to take the spot.
There's a lot of respect among those drivers in the top 4. And you go back and you look at the next 3 on the racetrack, and they are all Riverhead Raceway locals, and John Baker, who has had an outstanding day today. Dylan Slepian and Kyle Soper. 1 to go. It's a green-white checker start, and the caution's back out, so they'll wave off the start. This is overtime. And the overtime attempt will look like this. If the leader comes to the white flag, the next flag ends the race. If he does not make it to the white flag, we'll do it again. So they're going to align Tom Rogers to his proper starting position in the field. And once he pulls out a line and drops to the back, which he's doing now, we'll get set to re-rack him here and be ready to rock and roll here for the first attempt at an overtime start in a green-white checkered. 209 laps up on the scoreboard, so they'll see 2:10 when they get the green flag of a 200-lap race tonight.
So what do you think?
Well, Kobe on the restarts has been rolling the top for the first couple of laps. That's how he lost the lead early. That's how he gained the lead. He's got 2 laps to try to keep it out in front of Patrick Emmerling, and as you can tell, he's used all that front bumper on the 07 already tonight to drive from 15th up front. Green flag is out, and Doug Kobe off and running, clears Emmerling, but Emmerling digging down to the bottom lane. Turn number 3 for Kobe. Emmerling, Silk. Battle is on for 4th. White flag is out for Doug Kobe.
What a job by Kobe on that restart as he heads down the back straightaway.
Into turn number 3, Doug Kobe carrying the 7 New York and Tommy Baldwin's race car. Takes the checkered flag at Riverhead.
What a job by this team. What a job by this driver as Kobe loops that thing around going into turn number 3.
Kobe spins in turn 3. 2 other cars spun. You saw Ronnie Williams, John Fortin, and Kent Hagee all crashed after the checkers as Doug Kobe in the reverse direction to the bottom of turns 2 and then 1 has won again here at Riverhead Raceway.
That's 3 of the last 4.
He's
he
a
went
streaky
0
driver.
for 20. 3 of the last 4.
Yep. Once he figures it out, look out. What a drive. Stayed on top of it all evening long, able to capture the win, but this one's going to mean a lot. The 7 New York in Victory Lane here in the Wheel Modified Tour at the Riverhead Raceway for Jimmy Blewett and the entire Blewett family. And what they are going through at the moment for Doug Kobe to make his first start of the season, this checkered flag means a lot. Sunoco checkers are out, and he's on his victory lap.
And Tommy Baldwin Jr., a good friend of mine, he's actually in my wedding party. And this win means a lot to him to win here today. His staff from the shop, Baldwin Automotive, that he owns out on Long Island, they're all here on the front straightaway. It's just a real big deal for him to win this event with his driver, Doug Kobe.
So Kobe has brought it down to victory lane here on the start-finish line of Riverhead. What an event for this entire team. Tom Baldwin himself, a 2-time Whelen Modified Tour winner here at this racetrack. And now Doug Kobe, a 3-time winner, will break that tie with the famous Tiger Tom here tonight with his 3rd win at this track.
As I say, even to see the black car in Victory Lane. Tommy Jr. has done red, white, and blue. He had an orange one here one time. Just to see that black 7NY is unbelievable.
It'll be the 32nd career victory for Doug Kobe. Let's go down to victory lane and hear from our winner.
And in his first Tour Modified appearance this season, Doug Kobe is back in victory lane.
That was awesome.
Doug, win number 3 here at Riverhead. Hey, Doug, how good does it feel to be back?
Oh, it feels awesome. More important than winning is that Kayla Blewett's home with her family. So, Kayla, this was for you. Jimmy, Katie, James, Tommy Baldwin. I guess I'm kind of like a pseudo Riverhead guy tonight driving the 7NY, but these guys just gave me a great car today, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm glad we got the race in, so thank you to the fans that stayed, everybody watching at home on Flow Racing. Man, this place is so tough. The lap traffic here is just unreal, and we stayed out of trouble tonight. Tommy gave me a great car, so just want to thank him and all his guys for the hard work and calling me on Tuesday to drive it, and it was an unfortunate circumstance, but got to make the most of it.
Doug, taking back that final restart, what was going through your mind when you saw the caution come out?
I can't say that on the camera here, but, you know, this is Riverhead. That kind of stuff happens, and I kind of knew the outside had way more grip from all the restarts earlier, and that was the experience that told me to take the outside and see how much Patrick wanted to ship it in there and get into my door, and I was ready for it. There's a ton of grip on the outside, so I knew if I could jump him real good there on the start, it would be probably clear enough to squeeze him a little bit and hopefully take the white flag and get the win. So, I don't know, man, this is just surreal to get a call on Tuesday, and you know, a lot of people like to think that I got to drive certain cars and certain setups to do well, and this is a team I never even really talked to that much, and they just put great cars together. There's so many teams on the Whelen Modified Tour that have great equipment, and I'm happy to be able to showcase that for Tommy and his team tonight. They deserve it, and I want to give a shout-out to Mayhew Tools, my sponsor at home. You know, I'm not here with the 10 car, but got Mayhew Tools in Victory Lane, and all Tommy's guys. Just a great night for us.
Well, Doug, congratulations on the win, and welcome back to the Whelen Modified Tour.
Thanks.
Doug.
So Doug Kobe brings another car into victory lane. There's the big hug from Tommy Baldwin. And he got that 7 New York here to the victory lane at Riverhead Raceway. And really from just what was opening couple of laps, 10, 11, took the lead from Timmy Solomito and was able to cruise on and capture the win tonight.
And he never pulled too far away. He never wore the car out. He did an unbelievable job.
All right, let's go and hear from more of our top finishers. Here's Jesse with Patrick Emmerling.
Patrick Emmerling, second place finish here at Riverhead tonight. Taking back that final restart, anything you would have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, I was really hoping for a restart there, and just, you know, I think my tires were just marbled up, and I just couldn't quite get it going. And yeah, he had an awesome start. He started early, and, you know, he did get me a little bit, and, you know, when I got on it, I just, you know, I was just standing still there, so I just couldn't, I think my tires were just a little marbled up at the end, but I'm proud of what the team did today. You know, we started pretty deep 15th, and, you know, we were able to drive ourselves up to the front and in a clean manner, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of our whole group here, and, you know, last 4 races here, we have 3 seconds and a first, so, you know, we can't complain with that. We had an awesome car tonight.
Well, to that point, you've got 2 more shots at this place this season. Is there anything major you're able to take away from tonight's run?
Just get a little bit better of a starting position and just, you know, just do our thing out there. And, yeah, Doug was really good tonight, and yeah, so, you know, he was good and we were good, and, you know, I just couldn't get up going on that restart. So, but, yeah, we'll get him next time.
That's Patrick Emmerling, second place.
All right, so that's the thoughts of Patrick Emmerling. A good hearty run. Did a really nice job at managing through the field. It's a tight racetrack. It's hard to get from a 15th place position. Many of the drivers say, hey, you got to be in the top 10 if you're going to run well here, but he proved otherwise tonight.
No, he did a great job coming from 15th. Not only did he come from 15th, but think of how many lapped cars he had to pass, aside from the 14 cars that started in front of him. But he did a great job again, and as he said, 3 seconds and a win his last 4 times here. Great job by Patrick Emmerling, Jan Leedy, and that entire team.
So 3 races this season, 3 different winners. Who will be next? The tour heads off to the Lee USA Speedway in New Hampshire to be able to run the next stop on the tour. and the 4th state of the season for the 4th race of the season. Steve Halpin, great working with you here tonight. Thanks for joining us on the broadcast here on Flow Racing. For the entire team at the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and everybody here at Riverhead Raceway, thanks for joining and watching the Miller Lite 200, where Doug Coby captured his 32nd career victory tonight.